Toyota Tacomas just don't belong here. There's no place for them. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. And that's right, the Toyota Tacoma just doesn't belong here. There is no place for it. You know, I took a trip recently from Texas to Ohio, and I thought when I came to Ohio, I would see tons of Tacomas around here. I'm in central Ohio, and I thought I would see tons of Toyota Tacomas. And I thought I would see Tacomas that were modified and lifted and, you know, all blinged out and all that kind of stuff. But I gotta say, I'm not seeing them, and I'm shocked. You know, this morning I'm out on a joyride, we're cruising around, and I'm always looking for Toyota Tacomas because I'm a fan of the Tacoma, and honestly, I'm curious to see any here and what they're doing to them in this part of the country. But I'm shocked. There are barely any Toyota Tacomas on the road here. It's amazing to me. And I would have thought in the area I'm in, it's a suburban area, kind of a suburb of Columbus. And given the houses and stuff that are around, I would have thought the weekend warriors would have Tacomas. And the reason is because they have their houses in the burbs, and you got to go get the mulch and the stones and the posies and the bushes and all that stuff. And I would have thought the Toyota Tacoma would be the perfect truck for that. But I have to say, I am not seeing it. I'll bet you I have seen less than 20 Toyota Tacomas since I've been here. And I've been here a little while. It's amazing to me. It's almost like unusual when you see one. Matter of fact, trucks altogether are scarce here. It's very weird to me, and maybe it's because I live in South Texas, and Texas is the truck capital of the world, and everywhere you go are trucks. Tons of Toyota Tacomas. I would say the most or the biggest number of trucks that you see in South Texas are Toyota Tacomas. Not so here. It's amazing to me. And when I go to the lots, there's none. I made a video the other day about that. I was out driving around, did a little lot run, and didn't see anything like that. So I gotta wonder why. Why don't I see any Toyota Tacomas here? What is going on? What is wrong with these people? Well, there's a couple of reasons, I think. One, it's a more yuppie area. And that's right. If there's anybody in the Columbus area watching, you live in a yuppie area. And they don't drive trucks. Oh no, they drive Jeeps, which is cool. I do love the Jeeps as well. And there are a lot of them. By far, the Jeeps outnumber the Tacomas here. Even the Gladiators. I've seen a lot of Gladiators here. Not tons. Primarily, I'd say the Wranglers, the 4-door Jeep Wranglers with some 2 doors thrown in. But that's not what you see the most of here. Oh no. You see tons of higher end cars, Audis, Porsches, Corvettes, and electrics. I see tons of electric cars, Teslas I'm talking about. They're everywhere here. And that I find a bit surprising. Surprising to me because it is a cold climate area. I mean, there is a winter here. And I would think that would suck out some of that electricity when it's really cold. Now, maybe some of these folks have second cars, and during the winter, they're driving the gas eaters. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe the Toyota Tacomas are parked in the garage right now until summer's over. The electrics are then put away, and they grab the Tacomas. I don't know, because they do get snow and ice here as well. And I gotta believe that the Tesla is not exactly the best vehicle to be driving around in snow and ice. Nothing wrong with the Tesla. It's more because they have no lack in acceleration or lag in acceleration. I mean, when you hit the accelerator, they go. That's not great on ice. If you've ever driven a truck with nothing in the bed and not in 4-wheel drive, it just wants to spin when you do that if you give it gas. And that's speaking of a Toyota Tacoma that does have a lag. So I see lots of those, lots of the Teslas, the Model 3s, the more inexpensive versions, if you will, although they're still, what, 50 grand or something like that by the time you're done with them. And then you have to screw around and put a charger in your house. unless you want to plug it in and it's going to sit for somewhere between 10 and 12 hours. Seems like it takes that long to get it up to 80% if you're just plugging it into a normal 110 outlet. And I know this because there were some folks that visited while we were here. They're driving a Tesla, which, by the way, they drove cross country from California beyond Ohio east and then back, and it seemed to do quite well. The only issue I would have with that is waiting for it to charge. They said it could get up to a decent charge to get them a couple 300 more miles within about 15-20 minutes, something like that. That's not horrible, but a couple hundred miles, I mean, that's, I guess, 3 hours or so, depending on traffic. So maybe that's enough and it's time to stop again. I don't know. So anyway, I am just amazed that there are no Toyota Tacomas here. And again, I think it's because I'm in Yuppieville. I think that you don't drive a truck when you live in Yuppieville. You drive a Mercedes, and I shouldn't say that. I'm in a Mercedes now that I'm borrowing, but this is a 19-year-old Mercedes, so it's not like some brand new, although it's still very nice. But I think that's why. I think I'm in Yuppieville, and to keep up with the Joneses, you can't be cruising around in a truck. That's just not enough status. You've got to drive around in some sort of a high-end luxury vehicle, or maybe even an electric vehicle, the trendy yuppie car right now. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know, in your area, do you see a lot of Toyota Tacomas on the road? I know it depends on where you're at, because it's evident to me, being in South Texas, there are Toyota Tacomas everywhere, unlike here. I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, and RobMotive MT, all about compact trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. One other thing I do want to mention, the charging stations. I know this isn't about electric vehicles, but the charging stations. It seems right now with Tesla, you've got the superchargers, and you've got the slower chargers. So when I talked earlier about taking 15 to 20 minutes to get a couple of 100 miles, that's using a supercharger. If you're plugging into one of those older chargers, I guess I'm told, you're gonna spend about an hour or so to come up with the same level of charge, or the same distance extension, I suppose, that you'd get if you were using a supercharger. So just beware. If you're contemplating getting a Tesla and you think you're gonna charge it up in about 15-20 minutes, kind of depends on what's available in your area and whether or not you'll have access to a supercharger. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.